seriously, have you ever stopped mid-swoon to wonder what the heck happened to Neyo? I mean, can you believe that this very guy that had us belting out songs like So Sick and Closer in our favorite 90s crop tops is now the poster child for chaos in the world of R&B? But hold up, did Neyo really convince one woman to get sterilized? Then did a 360-degree turnaround just to start a whole new family with someone else? Is he really in a polyamorous relationship with 4 women? And most importantly, how does a man go from Grammy-winning superstar to trending on Twitter for all the wrong reasons? Take this as your trigger warning, because when we're done spilling all the tea, you might never look at this artist who soundtracked your childhood the same way. Schaefer Shamir Smith, popularly known as Neyo, was born on October 18, 1979 in Camden, Arkansas, to Lorraine and Schaefer Smith. But don't be fooled by that tidy birth certificate, cause this isn't your typical nuclear family tale. When Neyo's parents separated, he grew up with his mom, sister, grandma, and a whole squad of aunties who all packed a punch. And let's be real, growing up surrounded by fierce, no-nonsense women might just be Neyo's secret sauce to penning those heart-tugging, emotionally charged hits that speak directly to the ladies. Now, just like any hopefuls in the 90s looking to make a name for themselves, Neyo knew joining a group was the way to go. He teamed up with 3 other dudes to form an R&B group called Envy. And, you didn't hear it from me, but the group kinda sucked. They appeared during amateur night on Showtime at the Apollo and actually got booed. Yikes. By the year 2000, after several attempts to shine and make a splash, Envy eventually got disbanded. And thank goodness it did, cause can you even imagine a world where Neyo gave up on his dreams cause he was stuck in a failing group? After the group broke up, Neyo was ready to fly, but trust me, he could not have predicted the wild, scandal-packed drama that was soon about to unfold in his life. Now let's spill the tea on what went down after Envy, cause when our boy Neyo went solo, it was only a matter of time before he got that record deal. But here's where the drama cranks up. After signing to Columbia Records, you'd think it wouldn't take long for him to start dropping those endless hits, right? Wrong, because trust me, what happened next was crazier than a celebrity meltdown on live TV. As soon as he signed, the label made it crystal clear that it wasn't about his creative genius, it was about control. They dictated everything from the songs he churned out to exactly what he was supposed to wear. And when you're a newbie in the cutthroat music industry with zero clout, standing up to these big execs is like trying to outshine the sun. Yet, our boy Neyo was built different. Instead of letting them mold him into some cookie-cutter pop machine, he decided to push back. He wanted to create music that truly reflected him, not some generic product the label could sell. But here's where it gets even crazier. After he mustered up the nerve to ask for the creative freedom he craved, the label dropped a bombshell. His budget was supposedly depleted. Sir, where in the world did my money vanish to? Apparently, the countless restaurants they'd fly him over to in New York were literally funded by his very own budget. Trust me, I can't make this up. So what did Neyo do? Instead of bending to the madness, he put his foot down and declared, "I'm not putting out songs that aren't my style." And guess what? Columbia went, "Alright, bet," and totally shelved him for 2 long, dramatic years. It was a classic case of corporate finger-pointing where the music industry's puppet masters decided, let him stew, rather than letting him shine. But buckle up, because the Columbia rumble-jumble wasn't done with him yet. Picture this. While Neyo was desperately trying to keep his head above water, hustling to survive on the fringes of the industry, he hears one of his own lyrics on the radio, sung by none other than Marcus Houston. Yes, his very own work had been tossed out like yesterday's news and repackaged for someone else without a single heads up. Can you imagine? It felt like getting robbed in plain sight, and the betrayal was so thick you could cut it with a knife. But you best believe Neyo didn't just sit there crying over spilled ink, pun totally intended. No, he took that devious move as a sign that he had the Midas touch for hits, and he pivoted his career like a true warrior. The next 2 years saw him hustling harder than ever, writing killer tracks for hotshots like Tidra Moses, Christina Milian, and yes, even for the Queen Bee herself, Beyonce. And just when it seemed like fate was starting to smile on him, along came his manager Tango, the game changer who eventually got him that coveted gig with Def Jam Records. In 2006, Neyo dropped his debut album, In My Own Words, and with the single So Sick blasting everywhere, it all exploded. Over 300,000 copies flew off the shelves in the first week, and the album shot to #1 on the Billboard 200, proving once and for all that no amount of industry backstabbing could dim his shine. Now, with all the industry drama still smoldering behind him, the scandalous saga of Neyo was only just beginning. Okay, so when a guy has 7 kids and 3 baby mamas, you know he has been pretty busy. But trust me, you still won't believe the tea I'm about to spill. And what better place to start this jaw-dropping drama than his relationship with Monyetta Shaw? Neyo met Monyetta in 2009 at a Jamie Foxx concert. Things quickly turned romantic, and by November 2010, the couple already welcomed their first child together. But that's not all. Neyo proposed to her that same month with a huge diamond ring. Sounds cute and all, right? Well, buckle up, because this fairy tale is about to take a straight nosedive into one crazy horror story. Monyetta got pregnant again, and before she gave birth to their second child, a son, things pretty much went downhill. Why, you ask? Well, turns out Neyo cannot keep his pants in one place. Now, after catching him multiple times, instead of packing up and leaving, sadly, Monyetta thought she could revive their relationship, even going as far as offering to allow him to bring another woman into their bedroom. And even more desperately, in an attempt to win back her fiancé, Monyetta and Neyo agreed that Monyetta should get her tubes tied while Neyo gets a vasectomy. Now for my lady. I mean, if you know, you know. This is probably where you're like, girl, don't do that. Well, Monyetta went ahead and got her tubes tied after giving birth to their second son, and guess what? Yup, Neyo never got a vasectomy. But you'd think after all that, he would at least stick with the marriage, right? Once again, this man didn't cease to leave our mouths hanging open. By 2013, their relationship was pretty much done. And while Monyetta was heart-wrenched and barely surviving, I mean, it's not like she can't untie those tubes. Neyo was already eyeing his next move like it was just another chart-topping hit. In 2015, Neyo got engaged to Crystal Renee Williams. And now you might be thinking, was Crystal really going to ignore all the red flags waving in her face? Well, you know how it is. Neyo was all over talking about how she was the one and he can't imagine his life without her. They tied the knot, and for a brief spell, it seemed like our man had finally found stability. They even welcomed their first son in March 2016, followed by another son in 2018. But, as is often the case in the wild world of celebrity love, all that bliss was destined to come crashing down. By 2020, they announced they were about to end their marriage. But in a twist that could rival any blockbuster rom-com, they decided to give their relationship one more shot. After welcoming their third child, a darling daughter, in 2021, for someone who fought hard for their marriage, you won't believe what Neyo did next. Yup, he got another woman pregnant outside their marriage. The fallout was instant. Crystal wasn't as forgiving of his misgivings as Monyetta, and by 2023, their marriage was dissolved for good. And if you thought that was where the drama ended, brace yourself for the wildest twist yet. Come 2025, Neyo decides, you know what, I'm not going to stress myself sneaking around. Instead, I'll just go polyamorous. Yup, you heard that correctly. And Neyo is reportedly juggling relationships with 4 women at once. Okay, if that's not one crazy story, I don't know what is. Now, I don't think any scandal can top that rocky relationship life, but let's move to another controversy that had the internet buzzing. It all went down on the Gloria Valdez podcast, where Neyo dropped a comment that many considered transphobic. Apparently, Neyo isn't on board with children changing their identity or jumping into gender-affirming care before they hit adulthood. His stance? Any truly life-altering decision of that kind should wait until you're a grown-up. No ifs, ands, or buts. But when I say social media wasn't having it, now here's the crazy thing. While his publicist was quick to issue an apology, Neyo hopped on camera the next day and was pretty much like, yeah, about that, I didn't write that. I said what I said. And guess what? I'm entitled to my opinion. Now let's have a quick look at Neyo's run-in with the law. On February 29, 2008, Neyo was arrested for reckless driving, and as if that wasn't enough, he was caught driving without a valid license. I mean, seriously, how do you even go over the limit when you can't prove you're allowed on the road? Anyway, on June 2, 2008, Neyo pleaded guilty and was let off with a mere 24 hours community service. Now, let's talk about a legal issue which took more from him than community service. On March 22, 2023, Neyo was charged by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission for violating investor protection laws. This time, Neyo settled the charges with over $400K. Woo! Rich people's problems, if you ask me. So what's Neyo doing right now? You know, asides being in a constant state of co-parenting? Well, he's got a Vegas residency and is also majorly focused on his For My Fans tour with Mary J. Blige and Mario. Okay, let's talk cold hard cash. After all the lawsuits, settlements, God knows how many child support payments, and not to mention juggling 4 girlfriends, what is Neyo raking in? Well, our man is still thriving with a net worth of about $9 million. So, what's Neyo's legacy? Is it the heart-wrenching lyrics that had you dialing your ex at 2 a.m.? The songwriting credits so fat they could practically buy you your own private island? Or is it the endless saga of baby mamas, broken promises, and engagements gone disastrously off-script? Honestly, it's all of it. Neyo will go down in history as the smooth-talking R&B king who made us feel every emotion, whether we were laughing, crying, or gasping at the latest scandal. He turned heartbreak into unstoppable hits and scandals into streaming gold. And let's be real, we'll keep watching every twist and turn, because Neyo's life isn't just a career, it's one wild, addictive reality show.